We are live with Off the Wall Baseball, episode 5 on the Ellis Highlight Reel channel here on YouTube, TikTok, also Brand Ellis on Facebook. I'm your host from Ellis Highlight Reel, Brand Ellis, and I have my guy Khris from Total Apex Entertainment as my other main co-host, which he's rocking a great Padres hat. Great Padres hat. Great choice for tonight, Khris. Say what's up to everybody.
Yeah, what's up? What's up? Hopefully San Diego stops their horrible skid tonight and can beat the Dodgers. You know, I always love when teams beat LA.
Nice.
So that'd be nice. And you got the cool little, City Connect hat going on here. So
Yeah.
it's nice.
I got my polar bear.
City Connects, that's for sure.
I got my polar bear Pete shirt that I got
There
up
you
in
go.
Camden.
There you go.
I got my mans. I got my 2 City Connect Orioles shirts. I just washed them today. I'm saving one of them for next Friday's trip up to Baltimore when the Orioles play the Royals. I'm thinking about wearing the holiday one I have, and then I'm probably going to buy another one once I'm up there. I'm thinking about maybe getting a Richmond All-Star if they have them and at the shot, like something All-Star related for Richmond. I would imagine they would have it at the team shot by then. Something All-Star related for Richmond. If it's a shirt or something with the patch on it, it'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Be cool to have. So that's my plans for next Friday. So I would, like the last time I went to Camden, I'll tell about the trip on that next weekend show. I'll tell about my trip. It'd be a little different this time because I'm going with my coworker's family. And it's a different seating view. It's a third baseline seats rather than left center. So it'll be a little bit more behind the plate, kind of, or down the line. So it should be a unique experience, and I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, let's get into tonight. There was something we forgot to talk about on Wednesday's show. It involves Chris's Red Sox and my local team, the Nationals. Technically, we're more local than Baltimore, but I've been a Baltimore fan.
Yeah.
Also, kind of could consider me a DC fan because of my granddad, who sadly passed away. He rooted for the Nats a lot while he was alive, and especially that 19 year. But anyway, let's talk about the Nats Boston debacle. Let's call it. Kate Savali and Wilson Contreras got suspended 7 games, amongst others, for not really a dispute, but let's say Wilson Contreras bumped Cavalli on the way to the dugout. Cavalli didn't like it, throws at him the next inning, I think it was, and then the bench is cleared. Both of them got 7 games for the incident. And I can't remember if I think it was some other suspensions among those, but the main ones were Contreras and Cavalli. We'll spend a couple minutes on it. My thoughts first. I'll let Khris have the longer thoughts since it's Boston. My thoughts on it. I mean, Savali was going to stand up for himself in that situation there. And I don't blame the pitcher for standing up for himself, and I don't blame Contreras for doing what he did in his role in it either, per se. But it was probably not the smartest move for them to get them suspended, especially the Nationals, who have an outside shot for the NL wild card right now, as well as Boston with that jumbled AL wild card race. It's not smart, especially for Contreras. But at the same time, it is what it is. Khris, I'll let you handle it because you have it in more detail than I have it a few days after it happened. So go ahead.
Yeah. First off, I was gonna say, thanks for leaving Boston out of there as a possible playoff push. But you know what I'll also say is every time I say that the Red Sox have a shot, they immediately disintegrate. So I'm not gonna say that anymore. The Red Sox have no shot. It's over. It's all done. They're never winning a game ever again. But in terms of this. Yeah, so I actually think the whole thing, the whole thing's kind of BS. No, listen. So Kate Cavalli was upset because Wilson Contreras bumped into him, or not even fully bumped into him, but cut him off crossing the field and almost bumped into him. and he said that like Wilson Contreras didn't apologize or he did it on purpose. But literally, there's multiple videos of him immediately turning around and apologizing to Cade Cavalli and be like, "I'm sorry, my bad, didn't mean to." Like that should have been the end of it. I get Cade felt quote disrespected, maybe, but the second Contreras apologized and made it clear it wasn't intentional, like that really should have been the end of it. There should have been nothing else happening.
Yeah.
Fine, Cade Cavalli decides to teach Wilson Contreras a lesson and hit him, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with, but I mean, I'm never going to be okay with throwing at a player anyways, but that's a whole nother topic for another time. But Contreras is obviously upset about it, right? But, oh no, it wasn't that he struck him out.
Yes, and they started talking. He started jawing. Yep.
He struck him out and then told him to sit down, boy. And the key there is the boy part, which at the time Cade Cavalli claims he didn't say, and then there was like a million videos of clearly showing he said it. And people who haven't experienced that type of circumstance don't understand the sort of loadedness of that word for people of color in America, particularly black people, but also Hispanic, as Contreras is. There's and especially coming from a white, pitcher. I'm not going to get into race wars here per se and cause a whole bunch of controversy, but I'll just say I understand Contreras and many people being upset and feeling that was a racially charged comment because
it probably was. Yeah, probably. I'll say it. I'm not gonna get go into it, but I would say this. It probably was.
Yeah.
When he said the terms of it, I mean, it's the crazy part about the whole situation with this that started the fight. And both teams were going to bench. Once Contreras came out there, both teams were coming out there.
And I don't blame Contreras for coming out there either. I do wish, that's part of what's good and bad about Contreras' energy is he's ready to fight anybody at any time. He's just a bulldog for better or worse. And it seems like he's been looking to fight people for a while, and he got his opportunity. I wish as one of the leaders of the team, he had sort of thought about the situation and not got himself suspended because, he's literally the only offense Red Sox have.
Right.
And so that's not ideal to get suspended. And truthfully, as we'll talk about a little bit later, I think it's a big reason why he wasn't selected for the All-Star game.
Yes, I think so too. I was looking back into that was a good tie. That was a good tie-in because it was Blue Jays manager Snyder who was managing because they made the World Series last year, and they have the right. He has the right with his reserves, and the reserves are up to the managers of each team, and maybe that played a role in it. And also could have played a role and I think that's why too the Blue Jays fans and Dodgers fans really got into it with the All-Star game this year because their managers were the representatives already because they made the World Series last year. The teams made the World Series last year. So I think that's why Blue Jays fans really got the votes going for their players into the finalists. To tie back into the last couple of days ago episode. That is another reason because if the managers are there, might as well try to get as many of your players as you can there.
Yeah.
The only bad thing about that is I did see a video that said the NL was worse, and I think the NL reserves got it right because PCA should have been a finalist for a starting spot. Carroll should have been a finalist, but they got the reserve spots in the outfield for the NL, as we'll talk about here in a little bit. I think we covered the. Let's just get into it. I think this
really quickly, I was just going to say, just to wrap it up, that Cade Cavalli, in my opinion, was entirely in the wrong. But what hurt Contreras was his issues on social media afterwards, and even threatening to fight fans and stuff like that is really what I think ultimately the MLB hammered him on, and they pretty much said. So that's where his maturity needs to get better. But we'll see what happens, And like I said, I do think it's the reason why he's not in the All-Star game.
Oh, 100%. That and the fact that Ben Rice didn't get the starting spot at first
that
base.
took a spot right there as well.
That was the first base. That was going to be the reserve spot, 100%. If he didn't get in, and then the rest of it would have been,
which is a whole other argument that we'll obviously get into. But that is the most absurd selection in all of the All-Stars this year.
Yes,
in my opinion. So
yeah. So let's get into it. So the starters for the AL. We'll start since we started with the AL. We kind of tied it in with Contreras' snub. First base, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which is not the greatest selection. I get Vladdy's a great player, and he's just not having a great season right now, especially with his power numbers.
Literally, his WRC is below 100. So he's a below average player this season on offense.
Yeah, he's not playing.
And that's all he brings to the table as it is, because it's not like he's a stud defensively.
No.
So he's relying on offense, and his offense is below average at the position that is most needed for offense outside of DH.
Yeah.
It just that can't happen.
Yeah. Right. It's crazy. It's just, I think the name recognition of Vlad alone got him there and propelled him over Ben Rice.
That's why he made it, and none of the other Blue Jays got elected into that spot, is because people know Vladdy, and they didn't know the other one, in my opinion.
Clement got in because he was the leading vote getter in the AL, which is crazy.
The only second baseman, at that point.
That
was actually earned. I actually think he deserves the second base.
Yeah, Clement deserved his spot 100%. So we knew Clement. Vladdy was an issue. I'm glad Langoliers got in over Kirk, because that would have been a disaster.
Oh my God.
That would have been disastrous, because it would not have allowed Adley to get in for Baltimore. They would have had to done some weird shuffle to get Adley or
the
somebody.
Other possibility could have been that Langoliers didn't make it. Actually, no. You know who was it for Detroit? Dingler? It may have been Dingler that ended up cut, because you only had one player. Right, so I think Adley was going to be a lock no matter what. The Athletics had two, including Langoliers, and Detroit had three. So I think one of those guys would have been out over Adley, but still, it definitely wouldn't have been deserved. That's for sure.
No, it wouldn't have been deserved if Kirk got the starting nod, for sure. I'm trying to think Bobby Witt was shortstop. Third base.
Shortstop. Caminero got third base.
Yes, which was deserving. Junior Caminero. They got that one right.
Those were both right. Trout, Buxton, and Judge are the three outfielders, which I think
two of them were injury replacements already. I think
I was going to say two of them are injury replacement, but if you're looking purely on stats, those are probably the right three out of the six.
Oh,
but they will obviously be replaced, so we'll be getting some more names out there soon enough, I'm sure.
And then Jordan was DH.
Yeah, which
Alvarez was the DH.
Correct. Yeah.
So that
and
was
I said on the last show, I said this All-Star lineup for the American League, if everybody that's still in the eligibility for voting makes it over whoever the Toronto person is, there'll be a great lineup. And 7 of the 8 of them did. The only one obviously being Vladdy. So
then you knew the name. The name was going to carry Vladdy very heavily in that situation. It sucks. It really does for Ben Rice to not get the start, but he's still on the team as a reserve, which had to get rectified really quick, which it did. The crazy part of it was I heard Adley knew he was an all-star in the clubhouse before the game. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't officially announced until the third inning of that Baltimore Reds game last night. So it's crazy that the play. I'm glad the players already know they're all-stars or not. It just sucks for us for having to wait to the third inning of if it's a 7-10 game, having to wait that long. Granted, it was the World Cup. I think that game last night. Was it the France game? The France game kind of pushed it back a little, pushed back the coverage. Actually, it ended right before the coverage. It's just Fox doing their Fox thing with the coverage. I'm trying to think what else is we should talk about there. We should also get into the pitchers. We'll probably do that when we cover both lineups as a whole. Let me pull up you have like the reserves as well on your thing, Chris?
I have everything, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and talk about the AL reserves while I pull up my.
Yeah, absolutely. So the AL reserves, we've got. I mean, obviously that's where a lot of the players that needed to cover a team getting somebody came in. So for backup catchers for the American League, we've got Dylan Dingler and obviously Adley. Rutschman, Adley 100% deserves it. And Dingler's had a great season. So it surprised me to see him get there, but I don't think it's undeserved for him to be there. Detroit obviously hadn't had the season they wanted, and they ended up with 3 players total, which is a little surprising actually. Him being one of them, but I do think it's a deserved selection there. For the infielders for the American League, we've got Travis Bazzana getting his first selection, Nick Kurtz getting his first selection for the No City Athletics. We've got Kevin McGonigal, a little surprising for Detroit, his first. Ben Rice, obviously his first, and Miguel Vargas for the White Sox, their only selection, also his first. So the entire
is it like 3 or 4 first? Like Bazanzo's second, McGonigal would play short, right, for Detroit. Okay. Vargas plays third. Okay, so they do have a bounce. Okay, at first I was like, they have obviously 2 first basemen as backups here, so it's like
it's a lot, which is also interesting because Nick Kurtz is cool and all, but I just think both of our first basemen deserved it over Kurtz.
I think so too. And
given that the Athletics have 2 selections, it's not even like he was forced in there by the fact that they needed somebody, because they have Shea Langeliers already in there. So that's a little surprising. I don't think he should have been in there over one of the others, but we'll see what happens if there's injuries or anything or anybody sits.
Yeah, we still got a week. We still got a week of MLB baseball action until we get to the game.
Something could happen. Who knows? Some teams might say they don't want their player to go. I don't know. We'll see. And then for the outfield reserves, we've got Andy Arozarena for Seattle, Cody Bellinger for the Yankees, and Riley Green for Detroit.
So I think Bellinger gets in Judge's spot or Trout's spot.
Yeah.
And then I think Randy fills in Trout's spot and Belly fills Judge's spot. And then they'll get 2 more replacements from there.
Yep. And I think one of those will definitely be Dalton Varsho. I think Toronto's manager, I think he was trying not to look too biased with his reserve selections, but I think when these injury ones come in, I think that's where he might show some favoritism for some of his players. So I think Dalton Varsho will get in there. I said it last time, just for my own personal biases, for Cedar Rafaela to be the other one. I do think he statistically deserves it, but I don't think he's gonna get it even as a injury replacement. I don't know.
I would love Rafaela to get in there, like for the fill in the injury spots. I mean, I think I did hear last night that they said Trout is going to try to push to get healthy enough to play since it's in Philadelphia, since he's from the area. And try to play in the game. So Trout might be there. We know for 100% that Judge is out. He's not going to be back after till the end of July, probably. So we know one of them is getting replaced for sure. It's just a matter of that if Trout can get healthy enough before the All-Star. And I'm sure the Angels organization will probably try to maybe try to protect them in that situation. Obviously, Trout's going to be there. He's going to go to the game, but I just don't see. I just don't see him playing. So that's why they'll probably get the bulk of them replaced.
I agree with that.
In that situation. So I think the logical moves to push them up is Randy and then Belly. Those are the 2 logical ones because Randy plays left field for Seattle and Bellinger has played a corner spot, for New York. And I think I know he's been left field with. Well, has he been left field? Yeah, he's been left field most of the year for New York.
Yeah,
he can easily go back over and judge a spot right for.
You can, and let's be real. The All-Star game isn't about defense, anyways.
No, it's not.
Throw a log out there, and as long as the log can hit a home run, they're happy enough. So,
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And then the last spot there went to Yandy Diaz as the backup DH. So which
makes sense. Which makes sense because Yandy's having a great season. So that makes sense.
So that's definitely deserved. But yeah, that's the all. And I don't have too many qualms with anybody that was selected for. I mean, I think, like I said, Nick Kurtz was one I was a little surprised by. And
I'm not that surprised with Kurtz. If it was not going to be our guys, I would want it to be Kurtz.
Kurtz is right there. Yeah, Kurtz he's not an egregious pick. I think there was a couple others that would be better, but I think he was a good selection. Then obviously Vladdy was egregious. Otherwise, I think they mostly got it right. Do you have any that you noted?
I don't have any real qualms with the AL.
Yeah.
Most of my qualms with the NL.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think most of my qualms are with the NL roster as a whole. Because for me, we'll get into it too. I mean, the pitchers, we'll talk about like I said, we'll talk about pitchers too. I think some of the NL pitchers
is one I had a couple qualms on too, but
yeah, I think the NL guys, there's some qualms there for me pitching wise, and I think let's get into the NL. I'll go ahead and start us with the starters for the NL. Baldwin for the Braves was the right pick there. Freeman over who was the for other? Oh, Olsen. That was highly debated.
Yep, could have gone either way. I don't think it's a wrong choice there either way. So
no, Ozzy got second base. Okay, I mean that's fine.
I think it's the right choice statistic. Is it no? Who was he up against? It's the wrong choice statistic. Who was he going up against?
Who was it? Who was the other finalist? I think he did get a backup spot. Hold on, let me look at the NL infield.
I can't remember who it was. I remember one stat being pretty substantially different than the other, and I think it was the other one. But we said he probably wasn't going to get it. Was it for Philly?
Yeah, it was Bryson Stott.
Yeah.
It was Bryson Stott.
Okay.
Who ended up not being an All-Star? Who ended up not being an All-Star? We were thinking the Philly fans could push it in, but I think Ozzy's the right choice over Stott. I just don't like Lowe should have been in there for the Pirates because he's hit a lot of home runs this year. Yeah. So, and he didn't even get a backup. I'm looking at it now. Yeah. Lowe didn't get in the reserves either. So this
was a lot weirder. The NL had a lot weirder reserve picks going on here.
Yes. So there's that. I'll go back to the lineup real quick for the NL, the starting lineup. So Muncy got third. That was expected over Bohm. Yeah. I am glad they got it right here with CJ Abrams. I am definitely glad they got that right.
I was surprised when I saw him pull it off, but he did deserve it. Absolutely.
Yeah, he deserved it over Mookie 100%. I love Mookie as much as the next guy, but I am glad that the fans got that right and got CJ Abrams in there from DC.
He definitely deserved it.
And then Marsh got the outfield spot. Juan Soto
deserved. I didn't expect him to be able to pull that off, but I'm happy for him because he does deserve that for sure.
Yeah. So Marsh, Soto, and Pages are the which
I think are the right three statistically. Yes. If you're just looking pure on statistics, I think those are the three best outfielders for the NL this year.
Yeah. So. Yeah, well, other than the two reserves that should have been in.
Starters, the starting outfielders are the right three.
The finalists for the starting outfield, I have it with you there. But the reserves that should be starters are PCA and Corbin Carroll. That is 100% what should be the starting.
Out of the options they had, I think those are the right three.
Yeah. PCA should be starting center field. Corbin should be the starting right field, and then maybe Pages and left, and then Soto and
stats this year. Wasn't he having a bit of a down year at the beginning? Is that part of the issue?
I think that might have been the issue with PCA. His start, and then his late May to June was hot.
He's up to 292 now with a 910 OPS. But I think his slow start probably
might have cost him
the views of him, maybe.
Yeah. But PCA should have been, and Corbin Carroll should have been.
Oh, he should have been too. But he gets forgotten. Down in Arizona is just
Yeah.
an unfortunate thing. There's not a lot of fans out there voting for him, and they're not a great team. They're not getting a lot of,
No.
notoriety.
Yeah.
They
I agree
managed
with you
to
there.
get two players in there, but I mean, it just unfortunately fans don't know enough about what's going on. The general fan base, obviously,
Don't
like
know.
super fans, those of us
Yeah.
who podcast, people who play fantasy, they're all gonna know Corbin Carroll.
Carroll.
But
Yeah.
the general fan, he's just
Yeah.
not working it enough for them to know who he is. Unfortunately,
Yeah, exactly. As a Baltimore fan that just focused on Baltimore, gonna vote for Corbin Carroll over Juan Soto. Probably not. Probably
Exactly.
not. So
Definitely.
or someone like that. So that's the interesting thing. Obviously, Ohtani was the overall leading vote getter. He was going to get the United DH or the NL anyway. So that's the whole NL starting lineup.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll get into the reserves here for the NL. Like I said, the two outfielders, I spoiled my main gripe should have been PCA and Carroll, based on they especially like I think Carroll should have been the guy all along. One of the guys all along. His season's been consistent, all-star worthy. I'm glad Dave Roberts, picked him as a reserve in that spot for Arizona. ECA had the hot streak in June, in late May into June was the spotlight of the month in MLB The Show 26. So with his outstanding play, a lot of the commute MLB The Show with PCA as he already had the 30 like the weekend classic reward, at 96 for his 30-30 season last year. That people have already been using and liking. So it's kind of crazy that he got the back-to-back recently, but at the same time, it was deserving for what he did in June because he had a hot June for the Cubs. So did Dansby Swanson as well. Well, let's get into the NL reserves here. William Contreras, Wilson's brother, got in as backup catcher, and then Hunter Goodman for the Colorado Rockies.
Colorado needed somebody.
Yep.
They had to have somebody, so it seems like Goodman is going to be their forever selection until otherwise, because he got it last year too, right? As their only.
Yeah, this is his second selection, for Contreras or for Goodman, so that makes sense. And the NL infielders, Bryce Harper was getting in as a Legends pick. Apparently, it's a Legends pick for Bryce Harper. And
Which
then
is fine,
which is fine, 100%. Like
Does he
Harper,
deserve it? Probably not, but whatever. They're
I mean,
at home.
it's Philadelphia. Yeah, the game's in Philly. You need it. You need that. You need their one of the biggest. You needed both Harper and Schwarber there. So as Schwarber got the DH backup spot. So Luis Ariz for the Giants. Ada Lopez is deserving because a lot of people were saying he should have been.
That one was a shocker for me that they actually gave it to him. But I'm happy for him. He definitely deserved it. I was just surprised he actually.
Yeah, so he should have been there with Abrams. A lot of people were saying he should have been there with Abrams.
I agree.
For the Marlins, and it showed what Dave Roberts picked here. And I'm shocked he didn't pick Mookie for his reserve. But hey, it is what it is. Matt Olson and Sal Stewart are the other two backups. Obviously, both deserving. So
I was a little surprised the Rise got it because I just didn't expect San Francisco to get two players.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. And they already got Logan Webb. We'll obviously talk about pitchers later. But I was a little surprised to see. Not that he's undeserving per se. Yeah. He's certainly again leading the league in hits. That's just what he does. You know, so it doesn't shock. It doesn't it's not undeserving. It was just surprising for me to see Roberts actually pick him and put him in there. So
and I'm glad. Here's where I'm glad the outfielders they got all of them right. Backup wise, reserves. Yeah, Carroll, like I said, Carroll and Carl Armstrong were obvious. They were going to get the reserve spots. Jordan Walker, glad for him. He deserved it. And then James Wood. So the Nationals got two guys, which is good.
It's cool to see. And you like to see the Nationals, at least getting some of these young players finally, finally getting some recognition. Some of the Nats have been trying to rebuild this for a while, and So it's nice to see a couple of the young guys panning out right now.
Especially Wood and Abrams, which was
those are the two they needed to capitalize on.
Yeah,
they needed to hit on those two, and they have. So.
They have 100%. So that's the deserving there, and obviously Schwarber. Like Schwarber was going to be the backup DH. Like, there's no one else that was even remotely close to what Kyle Schwarber. And his argument, if Ohtani wasn't Ohtani, Schwarber would have won the NL starting DH.
For sure. For sure.
Because like that's the same. But Ohtani's Ohtani, and he's always going to be. But Schwarber's the reigning All-Star Game MVP. So we'll see what happens on the 14th and how players are managed and what players get in and what players, get in the spots to get the vote for for MVP. Because like I said, Schwarber was the last season's All-Star MVP because of the swing off, but like those first swing off. So we'll see what happens. I think Schwarber is definitely going to get in the game at some point.
Definitely.
Because it's Philadelphia. I think Dave's going to save Ohtani. Ohtani's probably going to play like maybe two at bats at most, and then Schwarber's going to come in. So,
for sure,
I think that's what's going to happen there. So, let's get into the pitchers.
Yes.
I think this is where you have concerns, and for me, I have some concerns with it, but I don't think as many as you do. Looking at it.
Well, I just think it's tough because it seems like pitching is often where players get thrown in to sort of fill the needs or where it's a little bit easier to hide some biases, right? Yes. So we'll just run down the American League list real quick. I mean, Dylan Cease was obviously going to get it for Toronto just by the sheer fact of their manager being there, right? And he's obviously had a great season so far. He certainly deserves it. And then the other Toronto pitcher that got there was Luis Varland, obviously.
Yes.
And that one was a bit more of a surprise. I mean, he deserves it. He's had a great season so far out of the bullpen, right? He's got his ERA is under 1. He sort of stabilized that bullpen that sort of struggled for a while, right? And he's not a name you'd recognize. But there's, from my count, 4? Is there 4 relievers for the AL?
Chapman. Baker's also a reliever, too. He was on Baltimore last year, but he moved
so Baker was 1. I knew that. And then
Baker, Chapman, Latz is a reliever for Texas. Jacob Latz.
Yeah. Okay, so they have 4 relievers there. Yeah. I'm usually surprised when there's that many relievers. Not that they shouldn't be. Because you got Cade Smith, obviously, too, for Cleveland.
That's 5.
So was that 5?
That's 5 there.
Yeah, so 5. It just seems like a lot, and so that's where I think, maybe there was some starters, that could have taken one of the spots of one of those relievers, whether that should have been Varland. I mean, obviously it can't be. Latz is the only Texas. Yeah, Latz is the only person from Texas, so it couldn't be him. Baker, maybe, I guess you could look at.
Maybe for Baker. But that's the thing. They like to try to get a lot of first. Like I think this year, I've seen a lot of first year guys. A lot of
first years, exactly.
A lot of first year guys. So.
Yep. Which is why, guys like Schlittler made it too, and he had a great start to the season. There's no question about that. And that sort of helped him buoy because he's really struggled recently, right? And that's almost another name I thought maybe didn't deserve it just because of his sort of recent stuff. I mean, his stats overall is still great, because he made such a strong,
Yeah, he's still at a 2.08 ERA with a 3.2 WAR right now. So even with the struggles recently, that shows how dominant he was before the struggles.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fair. That's fair. I mean, part of my problem is I just don't know a ton about a few of these guys and like what their stats are this year too. Like I don't know much about Parker Messick. Maybe you could give me more background on his stats this year. And same with Brian Baker. I just don't pay attention to those teams enough to recognize them other than that they've earned a first year,
Oh, dang. Neymar just retired from international football. Sorry, that World Cup
Oh, no,
stuff.
you're good.
It just
You're
popped up.
good.
It just popped up with the Mexico game being delayed.
Yeah.
He just announced, like, they just broke that Neymar has officially announced his retirement from international
Oh,
football
okay.
after they lost to Norway today. So that's a big story. But anyway, let's get back to baseball. Go back to your point, Chris. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. So I'm just looking at Baker's stats, and yeah, I don't know if he's, as a reliever, has necessarily earned it. And I also don't feel as though Parker Messick has earned it. He has good stats, but I don't think they're better than some of the names that got omitted, per se. He's right around a 3 ERA.
Right.
He's got a lot of strikeouts. I mean, I'll give him that. He has, a decent amount of strikeouts, 109. So he's at about 9 an inning. But
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just I'm a little underwhelmed by the names. And maybe that's just my personal biases kicking in too. But I just feel like there's other names, bigger names, that maybe have earned it this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I could see that. I think the NL pitching staff, I think, is more correct than the AL's pitching staff. Even though a lot of the names we've been talking about, you can argue for because they want to give them opportunity to be at an All-Star game, and then the margins are kind of thin. So let's get into the NL guys real quick too. Let's get to the NL guys because this is the right. If I was thinking about it, this is the right list for me. Maybe you can say one of them doesn't really deserve it, and we'll get to that. Maybe that name here if we have the same name. So Chase Burns been electric for the Reds all year. He deserves it. Johan Duran from the Phillies. Surprisingly, this is his first All-Star game, but he does deserve it.
Yeah, he does.
Raisel Iglesias for the Braves deserves it.
100%.
Mason Miller, we've talked about Mason Miller a lot on this podcast ever since we started it until Apex Media.
Yep.
Deserves it. Mizorowski deserves it. Eduardo Rodriguez, who had a great game in the WBC against the U.S.
Yep.
And, has had a great season for Arizona so far, deserves it. Chris Sale deserves it. Christopher Sanchez, who's probably going to get the bump to start the game because it's in Philadelphia, deserves it. Paul Skeens deserves it. Logan Webb deserves it. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was going to be an all-star for the pitching side.
Yes,
deserves it.
absolutely.
The one name I did not say that is there is Max Meyer for the Marlins. So you can argue a couple other guys there. Maybe his team. I mean, Perez had a struggle too. Like Yuri Perez was going to probably be a starter if he kept up with his opening couple weeks, but he's tailed off. Sandy's kind of tailed off. So a Marlins pitcher that's not really tailed off is Mayer. So if you wanted to have Mayer there, that's fine.
And Mayer's stats are solid. I mean, they're certainly, not undeserving either. He's got a 2.50 ERA. Got a solid amount of strikeouts. So he's certainly having a very good season on there.
He has a strong case. Yeah. But I am shocked.
One could argue that Webb is a lot more undeserving than, Logan Webb is a lot more undeserving than Mayer, in my opinion.
I think so too. You can argue Webb's not like as deserving as Mayer. Those are the two only. The rest of the names on that list, you're not cutting them out.
100%. I agree with that. 100%. They're all
the rest of the only two I could see Dave not bringing is Webb and Mayer, and
that just surprises me with Sam Fan, and that's why I was surprised by Arise too. I don't think they needed both of them. No. I think they could have done one or the other and said this is their one. But the second you put both of them, it's just a little surprising.
It is surprising.
I don't think Webb necessarily deserves it. And I think Arise is borderline deserving it, so maybe I would have given it to Arise over Webb, or I would have said, okay, use Webb and give Mookie the spot over Arise. But the second you're giving Arise the spot, either way, I don't think it makes sense to have Webb in.
Well, here's the thing too. I think Dave, it's tough with the managers on the teams that with the teams that made the World Series because you're obviously going to talk to his guys and see how they're feeling. Yeah, and maybe he talked to Mookie before he ended up going to the Rise. And he was like, maybe how you feeling about being a reserve, Mookie? You know what I mean? Like, once he got the result of Abrams, being the starter, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, do you want to go to Philadelphia? Do you want to do this, Mookie?
Right.
Or do you need to stay back in LA and heal up? And probably Mookie said, I might need to heal up a little bit. And that's probably why Mookie's not there.
Yeah.
Fair. That is one thing. And also Mookie's stats, he did have that time where he was injured for a good period at the middle of the beginning of the season. He was out for like that 30-day stretch there. So that I think that cost him too. But the reason I said Meyer or Webb is there is a certain somebody in New York who's having still a good season who was just traded there from the Brewers, Mr. Peralta, and he's not on this roster. And it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that he's not there.
I agree, and I think that's somewhat of a punishment of New York being dysfunctional. I think it's some of the because they did only get one player, and it was Soto who won the starting vote. They didn't get anybody else.
No, they didn't get Lindor. They didn't get Lindor. They didn't get Peralta. Those were the only other two deserving All-Stars for New York was those two, and I can argue Peralta more than Lindor, in my opinion.
Well, to be fair, Peralta's had a pretty rough season overall. He's 5-7 with a 4.82 ERA.
Yeah. Okay. So you can't really. I don't think you can argue that.
Yeah, I thought he was doing better than he was, but he had two recent blow-ups. He gave up 10 runs in 2 innings against Philly, and then gave up another 5 runs in 4 innings against Toronto.
Yeah, that's what probably caused. That's probably that blew him up. Out of the water. Those last 2 starts. I do remember the 10 runs against Philly. That was the game. Guys, in 5 innings.
Yeah,
I think that was that game. And then Schwarber had 3 home runs. I think it might have because I remember seeing Peralta on the mound.
Yes,
when I watched it briefly. So, yeah, Bryce Harper again. Quick. I would not have Peralta in the All-Star game because of that. So I do apologize.
No, you're fine. No, I wanted to look it up, but yeah, actually looks like 7 of the 10 ERA leaders for the NL did make the roster, being Mizorowski number 1, Sanchez number 2, Erod 3, Sale 4th, Burns 5th, Yamamoto 6th, and Mayer 7th. The top 7 all did make it. And then it was Robleski for the Dodgers, Griffin for the Nationals, and McGreevy for St. Louis, who have all had shorter, less innings pitched. So
Skeens is like a 3 right now. Is he a 3 ERA or close to a 4?
Yes, I think it's a little bit higher. Yeah. I'm actually, I thought that truthfully, I kind of thought that the NL pitching was doing better than it is actually. I'm actually a little unimpressed by a lot of this now that I'm looking at it more directly. They don't have, let me see. Skeens is a 362. He's only a little bit ahead of Webb. So,
Well, Skeens is going to that's the thing. As long as Skeens is in the NL or pitching, I think he's going to get All-Star selections. I think he's going to rack those up because of his name, the name recognition. Whether that be from Livy Dunn or like a lot of Livy Dunn people or him as a market, as a marketability. He's going to get a lot of All-Star selections. Now, it's just up to him to perform and be consistent. I don't think he's gonna. That's the thing too. It brings up the Cy Young race because you brought up 7 of the top 10 NL guys all got in, and the top 2 guys in Sanchez and Mizorowski. That's the debate for starter right now. Absolutely. I think it's between I don't think they're going to start Ohtani. I don't think Dave's going to try to start. I don't think Dave's going to throw Ohtani. They might want to. but I don't know. I think he might just keep Ohtani at the plate. Which we do need to talk about sometime about the Ohtani rushing stuff. We do need to talk about that. I guess we can talk about that now for a brief moment.
Really quickly, I just wanted to give you for comparison on the AL side, only 5 of the top 10 ERA leaders. And again, ERA is not the end-all be-all, right? I mean, there's obviously a lot more stats. But just for a quick glance, 5 of the 10 made the AL All-Star, including missing 2 of the top 3.
Oh, that's interesting.
That being Sonny Gray and Nick Martinez both missed out.
Who's Martinez pitched for? I know. Who's Martinez pitched for? That is one blank spot. Nick Martinez. Who's he pitching
for Tampa Bay?
So that was another Tampa Bay guy they could have put in there. Okay.
Tampa Bay. But yeah, so very, interesting. I do think there'd been more, egregious misses on the AL side overall.
Yeah, especially with the 2 of the top 3 ERA guys.
Yeah,
you wouldn't think that. But yeah, let's talk about Ohtani and Russian to wrap up the show. I think we have we really delve into the All-Star game. I think it's going to be a fun All-Star game.
Agreed.
With these teams, everyone that deserving or not deserving. I think it's going to be a great game on Tuesday the 14th. But let's get into it here. Let's get into this Ohtani rushing stuff. So it's spelled from I think one of Ohtani's last starts on the road. I think it was against the Cubs. I might be wrong on the team, but I think it was one of those Midwest cities. But anyway, so he was on the mound. Ohtani was on the mound, and Rushing was catching. And we all know Dalton Rushing has been a little eccentric, if you want to call it that, this year. His viral moments, some of his attitude, and all that stuff for the Dodgers. The young prospect replacing Will Smith right now. I think Will Smith's out on injury, if I'm correct on that. If I'm not, okay, so he's out on injury.
Yeah.
So that's the reason Rushing's been playing a lot lately for the Dodgers. And Ohtani, there was a couple instances where the two had a couple miscommunications in that game. And then it ended up being a cross-up involved. Not as bad as a Framber Valdez kind of a cross-up. It was a cross-up. It was a little bit.
There was.
Because Rushing was set up outside, and Ohtani threw the fastball kind of down and in, where he couldn't get it. But it wasn't like the Valdez cross-up last year where it hit the guy. He just Rushing didn't catch it. So they had the Val visit, and you can tell on Ohtani's face he's mad. You can tell. It's rarely you see that. But Dave Roberts did come out when he's hitting, he's jovial. When he's pitching, he's more of the serious baseball player when he's pitching, and you can see these moments. So it's crazy to me. I side with Ohtani on this too, because as the pitcher, you need to have great communication with your catcher, and the catcher, being experienced like Rushing is, needs to get better in this situation. And I won't be shocked either if there is a Tariq Skubal trade for the Dodgers. I won't be if they think Will Smith's going to come back sooner than later. I won't be shocked if Rushing is in the deal to Detroit. I won't be shocked by it because how his attitude.
A lot of headaches, but the trade-off then is just like it's caused the Dodgers a lot of headaches, and they might be willing to move on. It would cause another team a lot of headaches. Would they be willing to give them the value they might want?
Exactly. And Rushing hasn't been bad this season. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad.
He hasn't been great, and he's had a lot of controversy surrounding him with his mouth and, and obviously this situation. I mean, I'm 100% on Ohtani's side. At the end of the day, pitchers aren't perfect, but Ohtani is one of the best players in the world. So even if you think he crossed you up, made a mistake, to publicly show him up that way, in the middle of the game, it just so un-teammate.
You can see Rushing's eyes. He was kind of he was like, and then Ohtani was like, "What are we doing here, man? What are we doing?" Here? I'm like, bruh, Dalton Rushing is one of those characters that makes you hate the Dodgers even more as a fan of another team. 100%. It makes you hate the Dodgers more. And we never thought we could hate the Dodgers more But thank you, Dalton Rushing, for being it.
Yeah, proving us wrong.
You proving us wrong, man. No,
Yeah.
it's just crazy to me, man. I don't get why us as a team right now. It's just as a fan base, like as a MLB fans as a whole, we fuel the fire and we love the shit talk. I'll say it. It's my channel. Shit talk the Dodgers, as much as possible for being like, I will spend money. We got the highest payroll by far, and maybe partially the reason why we might not have baseball in 2027 because how much they spend and how much, certain things, certain owners want to cap, like, salary cap, this, that, and the other, and the players don't like blaming the Dodgers. So there's that. Mm-hmm. And there's that side of it. But there's a side of it with Dalton Rushing. Ever since I saw, like, he had the one incident earlier the year or two where he was, what was it? He was disrespectful, like I can't remember what it was exactly, but he had one earlier in the year that kind of rubbed me wrong. Yeah. And then this one. And it's just like, bruh, what are we doing here? Like, I get it, you're young, you want to make a name for yourself, dude, but at the same time, man. I know what it was. He accused the Rockies of cheating.
Yeah.
I remember it now. He accused the Rockies of all teams for cheating when they lost to him.
If they're cheating, they're doing a real bad job at it.
Exactly. That's what it was. I finally remembered it. He accused the Rockies of all teams for cheating, man. Like, what the fuck? Holy Rockies, man.
Real.
Oh, real, man. I guess the thing, man, it's crazy to me that, Dalton Rushing is what he is, and I mean, shoot, like it is what it is. And I'm not going to try to poo-poo it, it is. I mean, Dalton Rushing is going to be a good player in this league, I think, eventually, and maybe he'll mature, maybe he won't, maybe that's just part of his personality that Dodgers fans are going to have to get used to. But that's the thing. I mean, I could see it if the Dodgers really think he's starting to be a problem with some of their talent, but it has to depend on when Will Smith gets back. If Will Smith gets back before the deadline, I think Rushing might be.
They're not afraid to move on from guys that aren't going to be their starters, especially guys that aren't going to be their starters that have some personality question mark.
Exactly. They've moved on from a couple, like Lux. They moved on from Lux.
Yep.
They're not afraid to get somebody.
Not at all.
They're not afraid.
They're usually right.
They're usually right.
More often than not, the guys they move don't really become much, and the guys they keep, that they continue to roll the,
Yep. That's how the LA system has worked. For them to and that's the thing with the LA system. The Dodgers, yes, they've won by trades and spending the most money, but their farm system has been.
Yeah,
crazy.
Constantly, they trade off their prospects, and they're just ready to go with more. They have great depth. They get injuries. They have depth that can come up and just get the job done.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's the crazy thing about the LA Dodgers when you really think about it in detail. It's it's the thing of the matter is they have the best scouts. They have the best ownership. They have arguably the best general manager of baseball right now. The way he's willing to spend the money. And also when you own by like Magic Johnson's group, like that's the thing. When you're owned by Magic Johnson's group, you're going to spend money. Like that's the thing. So
must be nice.
Yeah. So with that being said, it is underneath an hour. We wanted to wish y'all hope y'all had a great fourth, safe fourth, obviously out there, and it's been a good time on this show. And I'm just going to keep a little bit shorter this review of the All-Star game. We'll probably go next week. 2 episodes, one on Sunday and then one on the following Monday. With the Sunday episode being my trip to Baltimore again, covering that Royals game and see how it happened and a few other things that happened throughout the week, heading into All-Star weekend, and such. And that Monday will be the Home Run Derby live stream. So on the 13th. So that'll be 2 off the wall shows there. And then the basketball show will be on Tuesday on the 14th that week. So that's the plan. Chris, tell where the people can find you at.
I apologize. I was being attacked by a carpenter ant. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, not the ants, man, not the ants.
ADD focus. Okay, so you can find me on Total Apex Media. Obviously, I work on the entertainment branch of things, but we also do have the sports branch that combines all your sports needs, sports, fantasy sports, bets, all of that coming together. So feel free to check us out there and check out the social medias where we're posting a lot of entertainment-based stuff on the social media now, especially TikTok as well at Total Apex Media on all social medias. So feel free to check us out there. And I will always be on my social medias, you know, doing my thing, you know, occasionally posting some stuff there. My Twitter is at Christian B617, and every other social media is some variation of that as well. So feel free to follow me there as well if you'd like.
And then you can find me on BLS32 underscore BLS32 on Instagram, at 30 BLS on Twitter. Obviously, you're at my TikTok if you're watching on there, and my YouTube at Ellis Highlight Reel, and then my Facebook at Brandon Ellis. I meant to try to get my blog started, but I was trying to edit this week. cut, unkind to me, so I was focused on that too much this week. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit balanced. Try to get back on the blog side, and that will be at ellishighlightreel.wordpress.com when I get that back fully up and running. And I wanted to do my other show, my Friday show this week too, with the time off I had. One, it was the heat. The heat was so hot some of the days this week here in Virginia as much as anywhere else, and I'm not making that
as well. Up here in Boston, been
it's been hot. It's been hot, and I shouldn't make that excuse. I shouldn't make those excuses about the heat, but I'll have a show on Friday next week. Well, I'm going to Baltimore, so I might not have. I mean, unless I get up early and do it, and just get it out there, do a recording, get it out there for everybody. But on YouTube, the morning of before I go, I'll probably do that just to make up for saying I was going to have one but didn't have one. Right. So that would be on Friday. Tomorrow, Limitless Range Basketball Podcast episode 5 will be on live on these same platforms. Ellis Highlight Reel on YouTube and Ellis Highlight Reel on TikTok and Brandon Ellis on Facebook. Should be live tomorrow. Probably going to go live around 7:15, 7:20 tomorrow night. I have some stuff I have to take care of first for one of my main boss. He went out of town for the week, so I have to go over and water his plant after work. And my afternoon will probably be delayed for tomorrow, so that's why I'm starting a little later tomorrow and try to get in and out of there by kickoff of the U.S. game. That's the plan. That's the plan there. So yes. So have fun with the U.S. game tomorrow. That's one thing I want to say. Tune in for Limitless Range Basketball. Well, big episode with the Jaylen Brown move, the LeBron James saga of him leaving LA, Walker Kessler to LA, amongst other things we'll be talking about on the show tomorrow evening. So there's that. With that being said, peace out, everybody.
Take care, y'all.